I have a 2-year-old child who loves playing games with his parents, going for walks, eating fried potatoes, and enjoying many things other children like. But he also has nightmares like many children do. When he wakes up screaming, I wonder what has terrified him. How can a 2-year-old create a monster in his mind? What can provoke such fear when he hasn't been exposed to anything scary? Then I remembered Among the Sleep, a game I played more than 10 years ago, which explores similar themes. Let's dive into that game to find some useful explanations. In this video, I will summarize the game and its original ending. Then, I will explore the symbols and psychological theories that help explain the themes of the story. One unique feature of Among the Sleep is that we see the game world through the eyes of a child. In the very first scene, the child is celebrating his 2nd birthday with his mother, who gives him a piece of cake. Although cake isn't recommended for a child this age, let's not focus on that because the game deals with much more serious themes. After the mother wishes her child a happy birthday, a knock on the door interrupts them. When the mother opens the door, we hear a tense conversation. The mother's angry voice frightens the child, and this is shown in the game with blurry visuals. Unfortunately, this isn't the only time it happens. Soon, the mother closes the door and returns with a gift box. Before she opens it, the phone rings and she leaves the room, leaving the child alone with the box. Inside the box is a small, fluffy teddy bear named Teddy. Teddy is an interesting character because he is alive and very curious. Teddy and the little boy start playing together. Everything is fun until they get close to a closet. The dark and scary environment inside the closet frightens the child. Teddy tells him that whenever he feels scared, he can hug him, and everything will be all right. This proves true as Teddy lights up the darkness like a flashlight. Fortunately, the mother soon returns and puts the child to bed. At midnight, the child notices that Teddy is missing and starts searching for him. He finds Teddy in the washing machine. Teddy then points out that the child's mother has disappeared, and a dark spirit has taken over the house, now threatening the child. The child and Teddy find themselves in a dark and dangerous world. They can only escape by finding the mother. To do this, the child must collect memories of his mother. These memories are represented by a locket, a music box, a storybook, and a pink elephant, items the child used while spending time with his mother. During their journey, they are periodically obstructed by a monster dressed in black, which terrifies the child and ultimately takes away Teddy. The child is left with only Teddy's hand. From this point on, the child must face all his fears and the monster alone, which never leaves him alone. At this point, every player tries even harder to do everything right and end the child's suffering as quickly as possible. In the end, the child uses Teddy's hand as the final memory, which opens the portal door to return home. Back home, the child finds the rooms in disarray and his mother lying on the kitchen floor crying with the torn teddy bear beside her. You might have already guessed who the monster dressed in black was, who became the child's nightmare, who snatched the teddy bear from him, and whose sight or sound terrified our little friend. By the end of the game, this monster is lying defenseless and miserable on the kitchen floor, just like the teddy bear with torn-off hands beside her. The child reaches for the teddy bear, prompting a slap on the face, followed by a tearful apology from the mother. At this moment, there is another knock on the door, and when we open it, we see light and hear a voice. It's the father, who, despite the mother's resistance, managed to see his child and brought the comfort the child had been searching for all this time. For those who prefer to see this story in black and white, the game ends here. But if we merge these two colors, we get gray, which gives us a clearer picture. This game has a DLC, or additional content, that introduces the prequel to Among the Sleep, again through the eyes of the child and his drawings. From these, we can reconstruct scenes the child remembered from his parents' relationship. It seems that the problems in the once happy couple's relationship began when parental roles were strictly divided. The father worked around the clock to support the family, while the mother spent all her time with the child and felt neglected by her husband. She began to cope with this by drinking alcohol, which in some instances made her uncontrollable. This led to depression, followed by various forms of domestic violence. One of these incidents is shown in the game when the father hits the mother in front of the child. This was followed by a divorce and the child being taken away from the father's house, leaving behind another beloved toy, a rabbit which waited for its owner in the cold, snowy weather. At the end of the game, before the child runs to hug his father, he can also hug his mother, depending on the player's choice. Whether or not this prologue changed your perception of the game's story is not the goal of this video. The aim of this video, like the game, is to show us reality through the eyes of a child. A child's mind is not ready to accept as normal what is everyday reality for adults. His perceptual world focuses more on emotional elements, tone of voice, facial expressions, and other external characteristics than on words and phrases. This can turn us into monsters in certain instances. The result of this extended stress response is that a child's nervous system, immune system, and even DNA are changed. Toxic stress causes the fear centers of the brain to significantly increase in size, and the child can develop symptoms very similar to post-traumatic stress disorder. Toxic stress decreases the size and impairs the functioning of the regions of the brain responsible for learning, memory, executive functioning. Children can heal from the effects of toxic stress if they develop healthy relationships with caring, reliable, safe, compassionate adults who guide them through the healing process. Adults can help children heal from their traumatic experiences by helping children build resilience, the ability to overcome adversity. In my case, once, I noticed that if I returned home late at night with my son, he would react negatively to the bright lights and noise of the cars on the street. That night, he would wake up in a panic. When I changed his routine, the nightmares gradually disappeared. However, the thought of how he perceives even the smallest details of our lives, which may have lost their significance for us long ago, but can turn into his nightmare, never went away.